It's time for our wrap up. So takeaways, Tim, take us away with the takeaways.
Yes, I'll pick just a few of my kind of favorite takeaways towards the beginning, and then I'll pass it to you, Juan. You started off by giving us a little bit of history, and you mentioned that kind of starting from the '90s, coming out of some of the like expert systems kind of movement, right? As folks were building AI at that time, they needed to represent knowledge, and so it kicked off this whole knowledge acquisition initiative, and this is kind of where Ontology started. And since then, right, it's gone from sort of the toy and prototyping kind of experimental side to now fast forward to today. There's the tools, there's the databases, there's applied practice going on, and it's very tied in with data. Like maybe at first it wasn't as focused on the data, kind of the interconnectedness with data. Now it's very, very interconnected with data. And you gave some really cool examples of, like, for an example, a data center company that you've been working with, or a company that has lots of data centers, that they built ontologies, a network of ontologies of all the things in the data center, the microsystems and the networks and how everything connects, so that they could properly solve root cause of when problems happen, right? Because it's so complicated system. You understand how these things interact with each other in order to really solve that problem. And railway organization, right? Infrastructure for railways. The agency had to homogenize data across 20 different countries in Europe, and each country has its own standards, its own little quirks about, oh, well, we call it this and you call it that, and we count this, but you guys don't count that. How do you bring that together into a unified ontology? So I thought that was very cool, practical examples. And you mentioned agreements being a very, very important part of ontologies, and perhaps the one thing that's the hardest to automate, right? As AI is becoming a bigger part of this, that you need people arguing with people and making decisions, right? Juan, what were your big takeaways?
We talk about ontology and governance, and like even we talk about data governance, and ontology governance now is also becoming a thing. I mean, you have PhD students working on this, and one of the things different from the past, like what we were doing, what we were not doing with ontology in the past was the governance, right? But that's something that we need to go do right now. And also important to know that governance of the ontology should be tied with the governance process of your organization today. And just remember that these are like software development processes can also be applied to ontologies. That's part of that governance cycle around things. And you talk about LLMs and ontologies. So yeah, LLMs are definitely clearly helping to be able to create ontologies, making it more productive. You can use it to like really help you think about stuff that you were the ideas, right? It helps me define competency questions, which are like use cases to make sure that I didn't miss things. And just the way how it's helping in software engineering, the same thing helps around this too, like even generating tests. And then, yeah, we're seeing ontologies being used inside of LLMs for LLMs to reduce hallucinations through RAG to help drive reasoning. And at the end of the day, the cycle of innovation here is just so fast that kind of research and deployment is happening together so quickly. And then when it comes to tools, yeah, there are specialized tools for ontologies, things like Protege. But what's really important, your position is that we really need to consider ontologies as like an artifact. That means you have to incorporate like the software development environment cycles, life cycles around that. So just using things in GitHub, and agreement is always going to be a hard thing. Yeah, well, you foresee having like AI tools, agents helping that, but that's a human thing, and it will be great to have agents to do that. But that's something to remember, that humans are involved in there. But
definitely.
Anything we missed?
No, I mean, like you made a perfect summary on this.
All right.